What would happen if one of Hollywood's most beloved actresses suddenly walked away from a lawsuit worth hundreds of millions of dollars, and just days later appeared dazzling on the Met Gala red carpet, as if nothing had ever happened? Was it simply a coincidence or a carefully calculated move? And behind that perfect smile, what was the public never told? The story between Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni is not just an ordinary legal battle. It is a collision of fame, power, media influence, and the darker corners Hollywood always tries to hide. According to multiple sources, this situation had been building for years, quietly simmering like a ticking time bomb, until it exploded in a way nobody expected. To understand why this drama became so shocking, we have to go back to the moment when Blake Lively was at the peak of her career. Not only was she famous for blockbuster series like Gossip Girl, but she was also considered a fashion icon, constantly appearing at major events with a flawless public image. Every time Blake stepped onto a red carpet, the media practically exploded, and she became one of the most sought-after faces for luxury brands. Meanwhile, Justin Baldoni had taken a completely different path. He became known through his role in Jane the Virgin, but later shifted toward directing, producing, and even motivational speaking. In the public eye, Justin was seen as a thoughtful man who spoke about gender equality, male emotions, and human values. Two people, two images, two worlds that seemed completely unrelated, yet according to some opinions. That very contrast became the foundation for a highly promising professional relationship, and also the seed of future conflict. At first, everything seemed smooth. According to multiple sources, the two had projects connected behind the scenes in Hollywood, even if they did not always appear publicly together. Compliments, positive interactions in the media, and public admiration made people believe this was a professional relationship built on mutual respect. But then, signs of trouble began to appear. Not an explosive scandal from the start, but small, scattered details that were difficult to notice. Some sources claimed there were disagreements during work processes involving creative control, image-building strategies, and even the way media was used to shape public opinion. Initially, these disagreements were mentioned only as behind-the-scenes rumors, but over time, they began to pile up. Some opinions suggested that in the entertainment industry, where image is everything, even the slightest imbalance can lead to unpredictable consequences. Then a turning point happened. According to multiple sources, the lawsuit between Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni began with serious allegations related to inappropriate behavior in the workplace. However, it is important to emphasize that many of those details were never fully confirmed publicly, and both sides offered different responses. Not long afterward, Justin Baldoni was reportedly said to have filed countersuits involving massive legal and financial accusations. Reports mentioned figures reaching hundreds of millions of dollars, quickly drawing the attention of global media outlets. But what made this drama extraordinary was not just the money, it was what happened next. Leaked text messages. According to several sources circulating online, a series of messages allegedly connected to the case surfaced, revealing conversations many people believed were inconsistent with the public images of both individuals. However, others argued that the messages may have been edited or taken out of context, and that was the moment the story moved far beyond the boundaries of a normal lawsuit. The media got involved. Social media exploded. Fans divided into opposing camps. Some supported Blake, believing she was the victim of a complicated power structure. Meanwhile, others defended Justin, convinced he was misunderstood or caught in an unfair media campaign. The drama escalated day by day. According to multiple sources, legal expenses on both sides skyrocketed, with elite legal teams hired to handle the case. Some opinions suggested that in lawsuits like these, winning is not only about the court's final decision, but also about who controls the narrative in the public eye. And then, just when everyone thought the case would head toward a tense courtroom battle, a major twist happened. The two sides settled. No trial, no public verdict. According to multiple sources, Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni reached an out-of-court settlement right before the scheduled proceedings. The exact terms of the agreement were never revealed, making the public even more curious. Why settle at the last minute? Some opinions suggested that continuing the lawsuit could seriously damage the public image of both sides. Others believed there may have been behind-the-scenes factors the public would never know about. But if you think the story ended there, You were wrong. Just days after news of the settlement surfaced, Blake Lively appeared on the red carpet of the Met Gala. And it was not an ordinary appearance. She appeared flawless, confident, radiant, as though none of the recent drama had ever existed. Images of her quickly spread across social media and immediately sparked a new wave of controversy. Was this a powerful comeback or a calculated PR strategy? According to multiple sources, some public relations experts believed appearing at the Met Gala immediately after the settlement may have been a way to take back the narrative, meaning regaining control of the public story surrounding her. Others argued it was simply part of a schedule that had already been planned long in advance. But the public was not that simple. On social media, questions started appearing. Why now? What is she trying to prove? Is everything really over? And then, another storm of debate erupted. Some people believed Blake was trying to clean up her image, while others argued she had no obligation to hide after a situation that had never been fully confirmed publicly. The division in public opinion made the story even hotter than during the lawsuit itself. At that point, the drama was no longer just about Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni. It became a story about how celebrities handle crises, about the power of media, and about how the public chooses what to believe. And perhaps the most remarkable part is that regardless of what the truth may be, the public images of both individuals were changed forever. According to multiple sources, both Blake and Justin have been trying to continue their careers, but it cannot be denied that the situation left deep marks. Some opinions suggest that in Hollywood, scandals are not always endings. Sometimes they become the beginning of an entirely new chapter, where everything becomes more unpredictable than ever. The question is, can Blake Lively truly stage a successful comeback after everything that happened? And Justin Baldoni? How will he be viewed in the future? The story is still not over. And perhaps what we have seen so far is only the surface of a much larger iceberg. And from that point forward, the story entered what many people called the aftermath phase, where everything appeared calm on the surface, but underneath remained unpredictable and quietly intense. After reaching the settlement agreement, both sides became almost completely silent in front of the media. There were no major interviews, no official statements clearly explaining what had actually happened. According to multiple sources, this silence was not accidental. Some opinions suggested that in sensitive situations like this, staying silent is sometimes the best strategy to avoid escalating things further. But silence does not mean the public stops being curious. On the contrary, that silence only made the story more mysterious. Across forums and social media platforms, countless theories began to appear. Some people believed the two sides had reached a mutually beneficial agreement. Others thought there were restrictive clauses preventing either side from revealing the truth. Then, another unexpected detail emerged. According to multiple sources, certain projects connected to both individuals began showing signs of change. Previous collaboration plans were reportedly paused or adjusted. Although there was no official confirmation, many people believed the effects of the situation were far from minor. Some opinions suggested that in the entertainment industry, everything revolves around image. And once an image is damaged, whether fairly or unfairly, consequences become almost unavoidable. Meanwhile, Blake's appearance at the Met Gala continued to fuel debate long afterward. It was not only the red carpet moment itself, but also everything that happened afterward that people analyzed intensely. According to multiple sources, online searches related to Blake surged dramatically after the event. Articles, videos, and even short clips on platforms like TikTok revolved around one central question. Was this the perfect comeback? But not everyone agreed. Some opinions argued that the appearance was simply too perfectly timed to be coincidence. Others questioned whether it was part of a long-term media strategy designed to reshape her public image after the lawsuit. On the other hand, many people defended Blake. They argued that continuing to appear publicly was completely normal and should not automatically be overanalyzed. According to them, in an industry where everything moves non-stop, stepping away can sometimes create even greater consequences than moving forward. As for Justin, the story developed differently. According to multiple sources, he gradually returned to personal projects, but with a more private approach. No more strong public statements or large-scale media campaigns. Justin appeared to focus more on behind-the-scenes work. Some opinions suggested this may have been a strategy to calm public discussion. or simply his way of regaining control over his life after an extremely stressful period. But regardless of the choices each person made, one thing could not be denied. Both of them had changed, and perhaps that transformation is what makes this story so compelling. Because in Hollywood, not every scandal ends with a collapse. Sometimes it opens the door to a new era, one where everything becomes more complicated, more subtle, and far less predictable. According to many observers, around 80% of the story's impact came not from the courtroom drama itself, not from the accusations, not from the legal filings, but from the way both individuals dealt with the aftermath. According to multiple sources, some brands that had previously worked with Blake reportedly began reconsidering their relationships with her. While no official announcements about ending partnerships were made, changes in her visibility within advertising campaigns drew attention. Meanwhile, Justin was also reportedly facing his own challenges. Some of his projects were delayed, and according to certain opinions, this may have been connected to the fallout from the situation. But perhaps the most important factor was the public reaction. There was no longer absolute support. There was pas de support. One-sided criticism. Instead, there was division. One side believed both individuals were victims of a complicated system where media narratives and personal interests can distort reality. The other side believed the truth existed somewhere between what had been publicly revealed and what had never been said at all. And it is precisely that uncertainty that keeps this story alive, even after it officially ended from a legal standpoint. Time passed, but the echoes remained. According to multiple sources, every time Blake appeared at a major event, the old story resurfaced. Every interview, every new photo, every appearance was analyzed through a different lens. Justin was no exception, even though he appeared less frequently. Every new project of his came alongside unanswered questions. It is fair to say that this situation left a mark that will not easily disappear. But from that, a new perspective also began to emerge. That, in the world of celebrities, nothing is ever completely black or white. That every story contains layers, perspectives, and different versions of truth. And that, sometimes, what matters most is not determining who is right or wrong, but understanding how we respond to what we see. At the present moment, both individuals continue moving forward on separate paths. Blake continues appearing at events, continuing her role as a fashion icon. But according to many opinions, something has changed, not necessarily in the way she presents herself, but in the way the public sees her. Justin, meanwhile, continues building his career in his own way. Quieter, less visible, but not entirely gone. Some opinions suggest this may be his method of redefining himself after a major personal and professional upheaval. And perhaps the biggest question still remains. Will time eventually erase everything? Or will what happened forever remain part of their story? The answer? Perhaps only time can provide. But one thing is certain. In the world of fame and spotlight, every decision, every action, every moment can become part of a much larger story. And sometimes, those stories are exactly what make people unable to look away. If you have stayed until this point, perhaps you have already realized this is not just entertainment drama. It is a reminder that behind every sensational headline, there are real people, real choices, and real consequences. So what do you think? Was this a smart comeback, or simply a coincidence of timing? Leave your opinion in the comments below. And if you want to continue following surprising behind-the-scenes Hollywood stories like this one, do not forget to subscribe so you will not miss the next videos.